What's up YouTube? Today's video I'm going to go over two expensive gambles that completely failed. So basically I'm trying to make some 12 link weapons and an 8 link claw. Now this weapon hasn't really been made before and it's a deck stacking claw of 11 links. I did calculate it out in PoE and it actually appears to be one of the highest damage builds in the game in terms of allowing you to get insane amounts of damage for Venom Gyre or Spectral Throw. So that's why we're making this. I do think that deck stacking Spectral Throw and Venom Gyre are pretty good builds. I tried it out already, and I think the build had around 1/5 of its actual potential damage, and it was amazingly good in Simulacrum. And the character is relatively tanky if we actually look at it over here. Even though you see it has 4.4k life, you can use triple elemental Mage Blood Flask. And for the claw currently, and this is the end result, so it's kind of spoilers, but basically this claw got some bad stuff on it. We'll go over it real fast. But basically, character has 100% spell suppression nearly, and it has the max res, and it has 90% evasion and 68% armor for the Molten Shell. So I do think that this variant could potentially be very good, especially once we finish the 12 link claw or 11 link claw. And I do think that deck stacking is an incredibly viable archetype. And we also try to remake the 8 link Spark Gloves that we saw on Reddit and from the previous video. And that didn't go too hot either, so let's go see what happened. So the reason being why we want to make the 11 link deck stacking claw is because it is a lot of damage. Deck stacking is an incredible archetype, especially with the new body armor. If you see here, the body armor you can get dex, percent dex, and then you can get attack speed per 25 dex. And ideally you want like life, and then you want probably physical damage taken as fire or something like that for the prefix. Or you can get life as extra ES and take Ghost Shroud. So there's a lot of different options for the chest. But the main reason why this archetype is so good is it's kind of like having the undeniable notable for Frame Stackers on just a suffix mod on the chest. So you can get attack speed per 25 dex. And a lot of these builds have around like 2000 dexterity. So you pretty much get around 100% attack speed nearly. And that's pretty insane. And I do think that deck stacking is probably the highest damage archetype currently out, besides the accuracy stacking Berserker with the 11 link wand or the bow. And it's purely because of the ability to get the deck stacking mod on the boots, the deck stacking mod on the claw, and the ability to use an 11 link weapon which scales the damage like crazy. And then you have the deck stacking mod on the body armor with the attack speed, and then you have more elemental damage per 10 dex. So there's just a lot of items that have pretty good synergy overall. And then the rest of these items are pretty much just T1 decks and then percent decks, synth rings. And you can get a lot better on these rings. So this character is still in its infancy stage. I put it together relatively cheaply. Most of these pieces do not cost anywhere over like 10 exalts at all. So I tried it out to build a little bit and it seemed like it had a lot of potential. So that's why we're trying to make the claw. And currently the only way to make the 11 link deck stacking claw is through Recombinators. Because the price of AUG influence is so crazy, a lot of the AUG influences are like 30 to 50 exalts. And 50 exalts is generally what you have to pay in order for a highly trusted member to do your claw. Now, by the title of this slide, you can see that a disaster happened, and this is the claw disaster. So basically, we try to recombine 2 5-prop claws in order to make the 11 link deck stacking claw. So what you do is you take a claw with 3 prefixes and 2 suffixes, and then you try to recombine it so you make a claw with 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. So basically what happens is you have 6 mods in the pool for the prefixes, so it's a 70% chance to choose 3 mods. So you need to hit the 70% chance. And then it's a 35% chance to choose 3 suffixes because we have 5 mods or 4 mods in the pool. So because we have 4 mods in the pool, it's a 35% chance. So we ended up getting 2 prefixes and 2 suffixes. So we got the 30% chance, and then we got the 55% chance. So it's not like too out of line with what we expected, so we just got unlucky. But what happened was we hit a 1 in like 150 or something, or that's what people told me, in getting onslaught effect. So you can see here we have onslaught effect, which we can no longer remove. And this gamble ended up being around, I think, roughly like 2 mirrors or so to get to this state. So you can see here, this is what happened. So I removed the decks, and this is the first base that we had. And I'm just like, oh, it's looking pretty good, right? So we can do the claw and now remove the decks. And now we put it into the recombiner. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, you guys already know exactly what happens. And it is not really good. So I'm double checking it, making sure that it's going to work. So ideally, you can see here, these two claws, one has celebration, one has faster attacks. I popped it out and they're pretty similar in terms of damage. Having a higher base attack speed matters a lot and more than just the attack speed you get for faster attacks, purely because you already have so much attack speed on the chest. So ideally, I think in best case scenario, 27% attack speed is actually better than the pseudo link of level 20 faster attacks, although it's very close and it depends on how much dex you have. And I did it, and it is a disaster. You can see here we lost 2 of the prefixes. I'm scrolling down, and then we gained onslaught effect, and yeah, everything just complete failure. And I'm just laughing. Oh, you can't even see me, but I'm pretty much just laughing to myself. It's like, how could something this bad actually happen to me? I mean, I don't really know how something that bad could happen, but it did happen, and that's the claw disaster. So moving on, we move on to the gloves. So for the gloves, we're trying to make the 8-link gloves, and we got inspired pretty much by Reddit. Reddit had this pair of gloves that was made through Recombinators, and it was level 4 in power, faster proj, +2 socket to projectile gems, and then you have crit, more attack and cast speed, and then multi. Now this is the best pair of gloves I think you can possibly have with one small problem. It is a mirrored copy, so you can't really put it up for mirror service. Someone in my chat did try to remake the gloves, Wyvern, or Dick, who always plays a Lightning Strike Berserker, and he made it, but he got level 20 slower proj. When he showed it to me, he actually removed one of the prefixes, I think, and then he was left with this, so he pretty much just Aug Influence and YOLO gambled it and hit level 20 slower proj. Technically, he could have Maven Orb gambled it to try to hit off the suffixes cannot be changed and try to get +2 projectile, but he just went with the Aug Influence. And this pair of gloves has been mirrored quite a few times, but I do think that the prefixes should technically be +2 projectiles, level 4 in power, and faster projectiles. He also made another mirror pair of gloves with the mirror tag on it, with slower projectiles in power and +2 proj. And that technically is the most damage, but it's a little bit annoying to use. I do think that most people would like to use faster proj, because slower proj makes it feel really bad outside of some small arenas, and it just feels really bad for map clearing. And I do think that this is the perfect pair of gloves. So let's go see what happened with the gloves. So again, this is a glove disaster. But for this thing, unlike the claw, you have to choose the correct base. You have to choose a non-mirrored base instead of mirrored base. So this is a 50-50 chance. And then you have to choose 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. And since both gloves will be pretty much completely finished, you'll have 6 mods in the pool for the prefix and 6 mods in the pool for the suffix. So it makes it you have to win 2 70-30s, which is not too bad at all. But you can see you have to win one 50-50 pretty much, and then another 50-50, so it's already a 25% chance. And then for the prefixes, you have to choose the right prefixes depending on which bases you use. So if you have like +4 and level 4 in power, slower proj, faster proj, and then you do another pair with +2 projectile, level 4 in power, faster proj, you have to kind of choose the right ones, the right mods to bring over. I'm not really sure the odds about that. It pretty much just depends on which base you use. And what happened was it ended up choosing 2 prefixes and 3 suffixes, meaning another brick base. And if you want to see what happened here, I do have a video of this disaster. So this is the person buying the base, and then the space is not exactly the best. Level 20 faster proj and slower proj. So it's not really Maven Orb, and it costs around, what, 300x right there. So he took it out, and then he got the other one. He got the mirror service for the gloves. So that's how you actually do it. You get the mirror service, you mirrored it. So now you have to choose the right base, right? So let's go see what happens. Recombine. What's gonna happen here? And well, let's do it. Time is ticking, right? Like, this person really, my friend really milked the hell out of it. But you can see here, it chose the right base, right? It chose the non-mirrored base, so it has no mirror tag. But you can see here, it got rid of one of the prefixes, but it kept the 3 suffixes. So technically, you could use this pair of gloves again, or you can sell it off. So it's not like a complete loss of money, because you could always sell off the bases if you fail it, and it's around a 3 mirror gamble. However, if this pair of gloves had got level 4 in power, you could technically gamble it up. But it is what it is, right? So we have to try it again and complete disaster. And this one costs around 3 mirrors. 2 mirrors for one of the gloves, and then 1.5 mirrors, I think, to do the mirror and the mirror fee. So overall, what do I think about all of this? Recombinators are pretty fun. It gives you a use of all your infinite currency you make from mirror fees, and I don't think that recombinators should be removed. Maybe you can make it so that you can't use it on mirror tagged items. But even at this stage in the league, not that many people are mirroring items to recombine. There's very select few of them, and I don't think that something should be completely changed just for the select few. And all of the items you see that are made on standard are literally done in standard, where currency has been accumulated forever and people have hundreds of mirrors, right? And you can see here, even for making insane items, it can cost crazy amounts of investments, even with how broken recombinators are. And I do think that if you want to invest 20 plus, 30 plus mirrors to try to make a perfect crazy item, then you should be able to do that. And I don't really see why you would want to nerf player power at the highest of high levels, because it gives people something to aspire towards, even if they can't actually reach the goal. At this point in the league, making an 11 link and 12 link weapon is probably almost impossible without using recombinators because of the price of AUG influences. As you can see here, times 2, 40x each, right? And this person was a TFT guest. So you also have to trust the person. You have to find an exalted member or awakened member, and then and there's just not that many that pop up a day, so it's actually kind of not feasible. And the reason we want to make the gloves is pretty much the gloves will probably never exist again if they remove the Sentinel mods by removing recombinators. So there's no way you'll ever get gloves with plus 4 in power, and there's probably no way that you're going to get the Sentinel mods for boots, which kind of suck. But I hope you liked this video about showcasing the gambling at the high end and what happens when stuff doesn't go so well instead of seeing all of the successes out there. But thanks for watching. I hope you find more mirrors, exalts, and mage bloods than me, and good luck on your recombinators. And see you next time. Bye.